Well, a very good evening to you. Thanks for clicking on to the UK Your Video blog for this evening. We're at the 22nd and we're fairly rattling through the week. And of course, it's just a few days now till the big day, Christmas Day 2011. A very different story compared to last year. Interestingly enough, we've seen the temperature up at Altnahara, up in Sutherland, far northern Scotland, of 12 Celsius today. But on this day last year, the temperature dipped down to minus 16 at the same location, so a 28 Celsius difference in temperature within that 1 year period. So quite an interesting fact. That was, of course, the 12 was today. But a very different pattern altogether, completely different across both the UK as well as the Northern Hemisphere. We've not got that blocking area of high pressure to the North Atlantic and Greenland, of course, and then stopping that typical mild Atlantic air from progressing west-east across the UK. For the past 2 years, over the Christmas period, we've seen blocking high pressure to the west and cold, plenty of cold. As well as that, we've seen widespread white Christmases. But like I said, this year is very different indeed. I did forecast a white Christmas. This year I haven't been successful in that. But there's certainly plenty of time, there's plenty of winter left, and I'm sure later down the road we're going to be seeing plenty of cold and snow at some point. But over the course of tonight, we're going to be seeing a band of rain and an increase of wind as well along that frontal boundary as it pushes through northwest Scotland, and it will sink southeastwards, eventually ending up in southeast England during the day tomorrow. But over the course of tonight, expect heavy rain, strengthening westerly winds, and on the backside, as that band of rain eventually pushes through Scotland, through the central belt into the early hours of tomorrow morning, after some pretty heavy rain and gusty winds, you'll notice the temperature starts to drop off. Now, over higher ground, we will probably see some wintry showers, sleet and snow, but that will be confined to the highlands, the higher ground. But over the course of tomorrow, we'll see a very wet picture across through the Midlands and into the southeast of England over the course of tomorrow. While to the north, we've got plenty of sunshine, but colder temperatures. Temperatures today, widely 10 to 12 Celsius. During the day tomorrow, we'll be struggling to get to 6 or 7 Celsius because we've introduced that northwesterly airflow yet again as the system pushes through. Now, over the course of tomorrow night, we'll see a much chillier night. Temperatures widely down near freezing or even slightly below. So a widespread frost, some wintry showers might be around. And over the course of Christmas Eve, we've got temperatures hovering 7 or 8 degrees and some showers to go along with that. Looking into Christmas Day, another system yet again rattles through. Heavy rain, strong winds, and temperatures once again back up to 11 or 12 Celsius across much of the UK, including Scotland. So that unsettled Atlantic-driven pattern continues to be the case. There is no blocking at the moment, and but there's a couple of signs that we're looking at, folks, that hint at changes, in a few weeks from now. But there's one or two key elements that I'm watching, and other forecasters are watching, that would suggest the beginning of change. But that still is a little off yet. But I'm going to quickly look off the European model, a model I continue to enjoy referring to. Interestingly enough, while we've been basking in unusually warm temperatures, and of course last night we've seen temperatures remain above 10 Celsius in many areas of the UK, that is actually well above the seasonal average for highs during the daytime. So that's quite interesting. We've seen very balmy temperatures. I certainly recorded a low down to 10 Celsius overnight, and really the average high is around 6 or 5 or 6 degrees. So markedly warm for this time of year for sure. You can see why. Large ridge of high pressure, airflow coming up from the Azores, and we've got, of course, damp, dreary, misty weather as well to go along with that. That air is travelling over the relatively warm Atlantic waters, of course, picking up plenty of moisture as well. But as you can see here, we've got very cold air over eastern parts of Europe. Now, we've seen very heavy snowfall, the first significant snow of the season for Moscow in Russia. And you can see why. We've got this ridge of high pressure pumping north and northeastward. As it does so, it's forcing very cold air to the north of Scandinavia southwards, and that will introduce some very cold air in the next few days. In fact, temperatures will probably struggle to get to -3 or -4 in such cities as Moscow. Down into Kiev, we'll get the same temperatures, -1 or -2, Kiev being down here. But nighttime lows as well, -7 to -10 Celsius quite widely. But looking ahead, folks, as we skip through the next few days, you can see here colder air starting to infiltrate back into the UK. Notice how the push of cold air continues to dive southwards. Looking into Saturday, you've got a cooler regime over the UK again. We had that system push through over the course of tonight. And that will, of course, introduce that colder air. But if you notice something here, folks, the jet stream becomes more zonal, more flat lines, so to speak. And that actually may tell that we aren't going to see just quite as chilly weather into next week as I first thought. Look at how straight, how west-east the orientation of the flow is in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Notice how cold the air gets over Greenland. The cold is building over Greenland. Very, very frigid air. The